All right, we good?
Yep, we're good.
All right. Farin, welcome. Any initial questions you have? You make sure anything you want to cover?
Not necessarily.
Okay. All right, let's go through your assessment real quick. All right, all the basic stuff. My initial job title, my current job title, engineering staff. I know that you'd mentioned to Zane about title progression. Is that something that you're looking at still?
To be honest, I brought it up to the rest of the engineering crew, and no one else seems to be interested.
Okay. Is there a certain title that you'd like?
Not exactly. It's just, I guess the initial thing was because when Brandon was here, he was there for that conversation. He was like, "Foreign, because you started off as staff, you didn't actually get to see the progression because he started off as an intern."
Sure.
So I was like, "Okay, yeah, that makes sense." But no,
Yeah.
in terms of a specific title, no, I'm not looking for anything.
Okay. So more of questions. I'm sure all your friends, they have all the titles because they're working at big corporations.
So yeah, they have product development engineer 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 3 being the highest and all
Yeah.
that.
I think at Lockheed, I was an engineer 7.2 level 6A or something. It meant nothing.
Yeah.
That, in all honesty, that's one of the reasons we don't have a huge series progression, because I just thought it was a farce when I worked there. And I now may be wrong because that was 20 something years ago. So I do want to, might even be longer. I do want to sit and figure out if we do want to build out a little better progression. Now, at one company that I built out their engineering, we did have engineer staff 1, 2, 3, but even that got convoluted because everybody argued. It just makes everybody mad at each other, was my experience. But we do want to listen to you and our staff and make sure we're doing the right thing, because I do get that. You want to see progression and you want to see these things. We're still up for debate. We're not real sure what to do, and we could use some help.
Yeah,
And
I
I
think
don't-
it's because it's so flat. There's 5 of y'all, and y'all are all the same level, and Steph and Amy are technically leads.
That's the thing. Like, for instance, now I think Amy's part of the staff as well.
Sure.
Like Mike and Stefan being the leads. So she's been here for what, 11, 12 years? Whatever.
Yeah.
That's just us being
The reason for the titles, we're supposed to have it lead, senior, professional. That's your progression. The reason we have staff is because in some states you can't use the word engineer unless you have a license.
Makes sense.
So that's where we want the lead engineer and staff, senior engineer and staff. So we did have staff, lead, senior. We just haven't really progressed anybody. And you've come in and you got a couple years under your belt now. And maybe it's time to figure this out again.
So I think this is something I can spend some time on and get engineering's feedback and take a look and see how everyone feels. Just
Might be a spot you could help us find and hit up all your buddies and
Yeah.
just say, hey, what are you guys companies using?
Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
I want it to mean something though. That's what my thought process was.
yeah,
Like, just
wouldn't
to
wanna
bump
be-
you to make you feel like you're advancing. Does that mean anything? You don't want
No.
it to get to, I've been here 3 months, I got a promotion. Be here 3 months and crush it, and then I don't know.
I don't think we should have numbers. That's one thing I'm against. Engineering 1, 2, and 3.
No, it
That's
was
so dumb.
it was I, and it became comical.
All right. Seems like what you really enjoy about your job, variety of projects, different obstacles. So you like the obstacles you're encountering?
Well, yeah, it keeps it from being monotonous.
Yeah.
Every
that's
day
true.
it's a new thing.
All right. What you're supposed to be doing, champ projects, marketing proposals, training getting better, PE, improve systems. PE, are you planning on getting that soon or looking to get that?
I'm planning to like start gathering my material because, like, for instance, in the state of Florida, you can take the exam earlier, right? Not saying I'm going to take the exam anytime soon, but like in about a year's time, for
I
sure.
would be careful, Farin. I'd look at Georgia and fulfill their requirements without intern or co-op.
Okay.
Because if you get a state that has a lower time requirement than other states and you apply for a license in their state, they might make you take the exam and start over.
Oh, wow.
Most comedy applications for other states ask, is the state you're licensed in more stringent than us?
Yeah.
And if so, cool.
Mhm.
If not, do you have the additional things we would require? If so, cool. If not, start over.
I guess one other question would be, which one would I do? if it would go into structural or would I do mechanical. So
Yeah,
that's a decision.
we
I have
need to
make.
work that one out, and I encourage you to pull the makeup of the exam, and then let's just look through it.
Okay.
You also need to think about what your long-term career aspirations are. If the structural is going to be harder and take a lot more time, do you want to be a structural engineer, so to speak? If you do, there's a lot more opportunity there, right?
Yeah.
Because it's so much harder to get it, takes so much longer. But you may still have trouble in some states that come back and say, well, your degree's in mechanical.
All right. What you're especially skilled at doing, structural analysis, aluminum signs, FEA. So is that basically into Deluble?
The FEA part is RFM, yes. For
How's that
aluminum
going?
and signs, like I've been doing a lot of aluminum my time in Phoenix.
Yeah. How's BlockPad? You like that?
Yeah, it's great. I guess one thing we can talk about that is about like getting a firm license for BlockPad. I feel like that would be great because right now I'm using my company credit card to get a license every month for $18. So
How much do you know how much the firm license is?
I think
I looked up a while ago, but I forgot what it was.
I'm not exactly sure. I think like $300.
Oh, that's not that bad. Yeah, I think that's something definitely we should look into.
There.
Specific accomplishments look like you champed a lot of projects. Any specifics that you liked or disliked?
Golf South went very smoothly. Apart from that, no, it was the thing I was talking about, the variety.
Yeah. Project value, that's an impressive number, 47K. So really good job this last quarter. That's really good. All right, self-assess. Do you want to go through this for me?
Oh, you want me to go through it? Yeah. Okay.
Just what
Sure.
you're thinking.
This part here, Farn, is for you.
Okay.
So we want to understand from your point of view what you're thinking, what you want to improve, what your goals are, what your aspirations are, so that we can support them.
Okay.
That makes sense what I'm saying. So the more you share with us, the more you let us know, the more we can build that out. Hey, I want to get this cert. Okay, let's get that scheduled. Hey, I need this training. Okay, let's figure out how to budget that in. That's what we're looking for. We're just looking for your thoughts, your feel. And that's really the whole reason for this assessment, is to make sure that our staff feels listened to, that we get out of you what's actually going on, that you have a chance to give us some feedback. So that's what this next section is all about.
I guess I filled that out based on the questions on the left-hand side.
Sure.
So yeah, I think I should get a raise because compared to the last 2 quarters, my numbers have increased in terms of project value completed. I am taking on more work and am getting better at juggling projects, going back and forth. In terms of value, I feel like I provide about 3 times compared to the past quarter. If you compare it directly to the project value completed, it's about 2.75 or 76. The rest is helping out other people and like helping out systems. And yes, if I was the owner, I would give me a raise.
So I like all of that, especially you looking at your value to what you're providing versus your cost. And I think you have gotten a lot better at juggling, especially going back to vendor projects and your own. What you need to improve on, go through that for me.
So one thing I guess is improving my communication with the team, especially raising my hand when something is just not viable. I feel like I take on stuff and just try to get it done regardless of whatever I have to do. And sometimes it's counterproductive to the team. Instead, I feel like if I said no at the point and it was handed to someone else, they had more time to do it and it'd get done faster. Yeah, time allocation, I'm still working on it. I've had projects where it was supposed to finish a week or two earlier, but it didn't, regardless of what the reason was, be it us, be it the customer. I guess time allocation could always be better. But yeah, I am getting better at spotting red flags. I see that regularly while I'm working with John, but I still need to get better. So that, especially during the proposal process, I feel like that's a very hard thing to do, but there's scope for improvement.
And pretty standard for an engineer of your experience doing what you're doing. So don't feel bad about any of that. Those are pretty standard things. And that's things we try to come to help with, right? Try to put more people in there to look at things sooner and those kind of things. I think you hit it there. When you do feel like you're out in the weeds, it's time to raise your hands. That's not a sign of weakness. That's not a sign of fault. That's actually a strength as an engineer to admit you have no idea what the hell you're doing. And you'll see that as you get closer to your PE. The way I know someone's ready to get their PE license is they know what they can't do. They're willing to say no. They're willing to speak up. I have no idea how to do that. I'll figure it out if you need me to, but right now, no, can't do it. So take that as a strength. That actually looks good. And for you getting your license at some point, you're already beginning to see, oh man, I need to shore this up. I need to do that. I need to ask more questions. So you need to come up with some flag. I do it this way. Like if you're doing design work and you've been at it 90 minutes and you still don't know what the hell you're doing, get some people in there.
Makes sense.
Awesome. All right. It looks like certification or education and growth goals, looking for certs and ASME. Do you have one specific in mind?
No, but I'll look into it and see what I can do. But because I am an international student, so there's only so many things I can get enrolled into without actually affecting my status. So trying to find those is hard.
So are you able to get your PE though as international?
Yeah, that doesn't.
Okay.
That's not affected yet.
That's weird that certifications are affected.
Yeah, because you have a specific visa,
Ah,
so you're only allowed to do certain stuff. For instance, I can't work out of my field. Like I have to do an engineering work.
sure.
Yeah.
Now, you already have your FE, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I thought so. What were you gonna say, Zane?
Nothing.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe you get a software cert or something on something we use as a tool.
Yeah.
Double or Solid Edge or something.
All right. Personal and growth goals for 2023. So create a system for aluminum signs. Have you already started on that or getting started?
The new client that we have, Skyline, I'm going to create a system for them because it's their first project. But it's more of a push to create like a general baseline stuff that we look at. We have stuff from Sunrise that's slightly a bit specific. So unless we get like a variety of different designs to look at, we can't narrow down what the stuff we need to look at in terms of a general calculation package.
Yeah, and Skyline, that one looks like it's going to be a system client recurring.
Yeah, I'm still trying to find my system client. I spoke to Zane about this before, that Sunrise, they just don't have the volume.
Yeah.
But Skyline seems like they will. They do a lot of work in Texas, a lot of work in California, Colorado. So fingers crossed that works out.
Yeah. That'll be awesome.
I would say get with Shane and have them pull a little of the AdWords data to see who's searching for that and some potential customers to reach out to. And then you take it upon yourself to make some phone calls.
Okay.
Make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we're open to any other types of business. If you have an area you want to grow, we support you fully. We're not going to tell you no if you bring in a whole bunch of work.
Specifically do better. I think this is kind of similar to what you had up there. Red flags, improve efficiency without compromising quality for formal calcs. So pretty good there. What Phoenix could do better than me for me? You want to go over that for me?
Yeah, firstly, project deadlines which are viable. I feel like sometimes the deadlines just aren't practical or achievable given the workload of the entire team. So that'd be great.
Is that on a project basis or your entire stack workload basis?
Project basis.
So that we give you a 2-week project, and you're like, this is a 3-week project. Is that based on this is far in 3 weeks? What's the gap there, I guess, is what I'm drilling down into.
I would talk more about this in the open for general thoughts, but it's more of like staff availability versus project completion promises kind of thing.
Okay. So it's the stacking of the work, the availability of the senior or the PE.
Yeah.
Those can drag on for days and days. We've got a PE that's only in 1 day a week and you miss it, you're hosed for a week.
Yeah. Plus, if I'm working with a new PE, obviously it's going to take weeks longer compared to what it usually would be if a PE is in-house.
Now, the opportunity for that is in the kickoff. That's one of the things Andrew will share in a minute. Our goal for the new year is making sure we get a kickoff in 80% of all new projects. So now that you have the experience of getting burned a bunch of times, that voice better be getting loud in that kickoff meeting, right?
Yep.
And it's one of those things because there's 2 directions to take that for. And so as a company, we've got to do better. But as an individual engineer, there are no excuses. You got to find a way, right?
Yeah.
And I say that in a positive manner, not a negative. Like you're not doing anything wrong, but you also don't wait on anybody. A minute ago, hey, I want to do more sign work. You could wait on the sales guy to get around to it, but it's more important for you to make the call.
For sure.
Awesome. So it looks like you also get more repeat work. I think everyone's kind of on the same path for that one. We need to get more repeat work from our clients. mechanical and aerospace into our categories. Do you have anything specific that we don't have that you'd look for?
We do have a few mechanical projects coming in because of a lack of how we do those stuff. We usually vendor it out.
Sure, that's something you want to do.
Yeah, if we can do it in-house, I'm sure we can do them in-house, but it's just about actually doing them in-house.
Those are the ones that typically are the big projects that take a long time, right?
There's some that are short, like for instance,
Yeah.
the hillside lifts.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we ended up doing a lot of the mechanical work in-house because we had to essentially figure out what was going on. But yeah, if we can keep them, we can establish systems, or at least framework on how to get them done.
Zane, have we ever had any aerospace work here? Oh, we have? Oh, very cool. That'd be something awesome if we could get that.
That's one of the things we're trying to do as a company, and I'll hit that one more time again. Every one of our engineers, we must make sure they know that we support any new area of business as long as it's profitable and we can provide a good value to our customer. For instance, if we hired a bunch of guys that had done retaining walls and we weren't doing retaining walls yet, wouldn't it be smarter of them to go to sales and help build a sales package to get a whole lot of retaining wall work because they're really good at it and we can knock it out and be amazing. Same thing with interests, right? If you're interested in a certain area, we just need to find enough work to build you out a whole team doing it, right? We've got one potential client right now in mezzanines that could take an entire engineering staff to just do that kind of work. Wouldn't that be cool if you really loved doing those, right? You could chief that team and head it up. Sky's the limit here. We're not holding you back.
Fair.
Awesome. Anything you'd like to add to that, Lauren?
No.
All right.
Sounds
I actually want to expand on that for a minute because this is one of those spots where engineers are like, hey, I'm an engineer. Why do I need to do sales? Look at it the other way. What if I get to do sales? What if I get to bring in a massive amount of work that I really love doing and I get to learn new stuff and get new tools and build a whole team of people? Wouldn't that be great for me and the company, right?
Yeah.
It's one of those things, if you're providing value, you'll never want for anything, right? There's no company that's going to say, Foreign, please don't bring in $2 million worth of work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sometimes it takes you stepping out of your engineer shell, and that's tough for us sometimes. We're introverted people. We don't want to get on the phone. We don't want to do those kind of things. But the more we do, the more we'll see it's really not as scary as we think it is. And maybe we can help more people if we put ourselves out there more.
Awesome. All right. General thoughts, feedback, meeting with lawyer, end of December email discussion.
So the meeting with the lawyer thing is for my H-1B. Meeting with the lawyer on Wednesday. And basically, I spoke to a few of them. And essentially what the process is going to be is they sign me up for the lottery system that's there. And if I get picked, then basically the process goes on. Yeah.
And is H-1B, is that, what is that?
So that's the work visa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Full work with no restrictions.
Are you
Okay.
eventually going to try to get
Right now, he's still on the student transition visa or whatever it is.
Yeah. Practical training.
And so we're just trying to make sure we continually meet the requirements of that. And that's why he has to write up what he's doing and how it affects the industry and those kind of things.
Yeah.
That's why any training he does needs to be in that area very specifically to make sure that his visa stays.
Awesome. Makes sense. All right. Look through assessment. Done. Abilities. I think this and the metrics should update upcoming. Anything here you have any questions on? Anything you'd like to go over?
No.
All good.
Are we clear with you on what we need you to do?
Yes.
Okay. And if you were to say that back to me of what I need to do.
Champ projects, communicate with clients, complete task value because we are basically the engineering
Is he reading
team.
this off the screen?
And then support with proposals and train and improve.
Good job for him.
Things are pretty clear. All right, timesheets. So it looks like pretty similar to last time. Looks like your job total did go up a little bit. And it looks like you did get a little bit more training in this. So good job there. It looks like you're doing a lot of proposals right now. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I have been helping a lot with proposals.
We'll assume your Christmas vacation stuff slides into jobs, but that still doesn't quite get us to 80. So I would ponder that. If you're selling and pulling in proposals and all those kinds of things, awesome. that's a great use of that time. If you're not, ask yourself, do I need to give a little bit more to make sure that I get my job time complete? Because you're the workhorse, you're the machine, you're the workstation. It's got to turn out product, right?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. So 80% goal for jobs next quarter. So I know that at least some of the PTO it probably brought up to 70, 78, 79. So
9%.
yeah, just remember to take a look at that. Looks like you're working a little bit more than full time. So thanks on that. We appreciate that. All right. Any training specific that you did this before we go over our general test stuff?
Not any like certs or anything.
Okay.
You've got 28 hours in the quarter in training.
That was primarily RFM,
Just
just
like a day of
just like-
Wattpad and day or two of ARIA. I'm sure. Cool.
All right, here's what we did with the Myers-Briggs and DISC results. Have everyone's results right here. And then we have Phoenix's overall. So introversion, sensing, thinking, judging. And there's the test results if you'd like to look. One thing I would recommend is going through and taking a look at the people you work closely with just to see how you would work well with them, the general things to know, things that, they don't perceive well, things that they like, just to get a better sense of how everyone works and acts together. And then there's also, if you log back in, here, I'll put this in chat, it'll give you the company as a whole, all their feedback and everything.
I'll steal your screen for a second.
Sure.
I don't know if you looked through it when you turned it in, Fawn, but this has got some really good stuff in here about who you are, where you are, and then how to work with others, how you work with other people and those kind of things. And then there's some really good suggestions in here for you taking action. Like you specifically in comparison to the team you're working with. Show more willingness to work as part of the team. Recognize the value of networking. Consider the impact of your words, right? Each of those kind of things is what we were talking about earlier. Hey, speaking up on a project, getting help, not getting lost in the weeds, all these kind of things. But it's got quite a bit of really good detail in there. And then you can go, as Andrew just showed you on the other screen, you can see what other people are. So if you're having any trouble working with Mike, this can tell you exactly what's going on. Mike and Stefan, for instance, are completely diametrically opposite on this from each other. They've got to be very cognizant of that when they interact with each other. And what's cool, we spent time and a good bit of money on this, is trying to get everyone to understand each other. We're not just cogs in the machine, we're people too. So we got to be able to interact, understand one another to produce a good result together. So there's some really good stuff in here. I would encourage you to read through, think through all those kind of things. The important thing is anytime you take these kinds of tests, make sure you take them in your work persona, right? Okay. Especially as an engineer, we're very literal, and then we'll argue with a question over and over. Just answer it in your work persona and move on.
Makes sense.
So I would encourage you scheduling time to look back through that and then pull one or two action items for the next quarter. Like, hey, I'm going to make a cognizant effort to do X.
Beautiful. Weekly rankings. I don't have too much from you, Fawn. Got to do a better job. Start filling these out every week.
Yeah, I kind of forget.
Looks like you had a decrease in happiness right before. Is this right before your vacation? You feeling better now?
Yeah. Like I don't exactly remember what it was, but it must have been just work. If it was anything else, I'd come to you guys.
It's like your workload was up at the time.
Yeah.
The confidence level was also up, but you were still angry or tired or frustrated or any of the others.
I guess it was one of those times where I know what to do, for which I was confident, but it's just so much to do.
Yeah.
The one thing we want to look at though on this happiness scale is you seem to be about a baseline 5.5. Remember our qualifier is Mike smiling slightly is a 7.
7.
So if you're generally happy, 7's a good solid number, right? You enjoy your work, you got cool stuff, all those kind of things. If you're frustrated, you're unhappy, you're disappointed, you don't feel listened to, all those kind of things can drag those down, and then vice versa. So what we need to know right now as we qualify these kind of things, Andrew, is his 5.5 the equivalent of what we're shooting for our 7? Because we're trying to get a 7 across the board with all of our people. And I'm not trying to browbeat you into a 7. What I'm trying to do is qualify what your scale is, because happiness is such a...
Generally for me, 6 is baseline. Like 6 is not happy, not sad, like existing.
Okay. And see, that means we're good then, because we want all of our staff to be a little bit better than just going through the day. We want you to be excited and have fun and those kind of things. So it sounds like we're pretty qualified right on it. We've got to figure out a way to get you from 5.5 to a 6, and then to a 6.5 and a 7. If there's one thing we could do to get you from a 5.5 to a 5.6 in the next quarter, what would we do?
I don't know.
Okay. Ponder, I mean, this is relationships. It's hard for us to do our part if we don't understand what it is we're not doing.
Yeah.
To me, I think if we showered you with a bunch of money, gave you a cool job title, and then gave you easy projects for a quarter, we'd have an 8.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So that's our answer, right?
Yep.
So metrics, is this something that you updated, Zane? That you updated
I
all
put
our
it in
metrics?
there. We did not meet. I think we can move on.
Okay. Do you want to go? Okay. Do you want to go on the goals in this portion, or are you gonna wait?
We need Farin to, no, goals are further down. Right now,
Yeah,
we
I
need
put.
Farin to do his own people analyzer on himself.
Okay. All right. Foreign, highly motivated, plus, minus, or minus.
Plus.
Ah, dang it! I forgot this is the
Look at the Excel master.
comma thing. I hate that. All right. Continually trained.
Plus.
Genuine interest.
That's a plus minus.
Just copy
Great.
and paste, dude. Copy and paste.
All right. Can-do attitude,
Plus.
and then communicate clearly.
Plus minus.
Get it when it can do it.
Plus for all 3.
Yes or no?
Yes for all 3.
All right. Looks like we, unfortunately, leadership has done not a good job, and the whole company hasn't done a great job. We did get some feedback though, saying you've gotten a lot more experience, you have improved a ton, taking on a lot more work. I do apologize for the company though, that more engineering, more people you work with in the day to day haven't given you feedback. We just went over
Well,
that.
I asked the question, did Farin give everybody feedback?
I did not.
No, he did
Okay.
not.
And see, that's part of the problem, right? Isn't it cool getting feedback?
But then again, I won't be disappointed if I didn't get it because I didn't give it to anyone.
True, but if we got everyone to give it, wouldn't you want it?
Yeah, that'd be great.
That's one of the things we do here. We try to let everybody give everybody feedback, even if critical, because there's only one way to get better.
Sure.
And there's only way to build a culture of being able to hold each other accountable, and that's to speak up and tell each other how we're doing.
But I also feel like recently it's been more people talking to each other. If Mike finds something that I was doing wrong, Mike's coming to me.
Sure.
And that's been helping a lot. Just that clear communication. If I'm finding something wrong, I'm going to that person. Yeah. So that, even though it's not formulated as like a review kind of thing, it still helps a lot.
We definitely want that to continue, right? We want everyone interacting with each other, but we also have this to help us see patterns. So if we have someone that's having trouble in an area, if 10 people say it's a problem, it's probably a problem, even if they don't think it is. And
Yeah.
vice versa, they may see some positivity that you're not seeing. You may be so drowned in projects, you don't see your progress, but then to hear 10 people tell you how amazing you've done, that's only going to help reinforce what we're trying to do here.
Sure.
All right, sweet. Here's your rough average. Zane, I think you updated this, right?
Yeah, the company gave you a plus minus on a player. You're not yet. You've got much training to do, right? We want to push you. We're not saying this in a negative manner. We're saying this in a positive manner. We're saying, hey, let's get far and more skills. So I think some kind of formal education or training plan in place to increase your skill level is something we need to do. And then I think we gave you plus minus on communicate clearly for being clear on where your projects are and not being afraid to say they're not going well.
Okay.
It's not always you that's the issue. And it's hard to fix the systemic problems if we all personally take it as a slam that our project is behind. And vice versa. Sometimes it is us. And we need to speak up. Hey, I have trouble with these kinds of things. I need help. That's not weakness.
Yeah,
So
one spot for me is like, for instance, like member releases in RFM. I always go to Stefan or Mike because I'm like, I just don't understand this.
Sure.
So just walk me through this. And
Well, it's one of the things. So you put a training plan in place and you go find 4 or 5 videos that they have out for training for those kind of things. Or maybe everybody else has the same issue and we can hire a consultant to come in and build us a custom solution for that, right? Or do a
Yeah.
formal training on just that aspect. I think that's something that's incredibly important, that we do speak up and not see it as weakness. I don't think we have a culture where if you showed us weakness, we're going to pound on you.
No.
I think we're going to do the opposite. So that's what we're trying to build here. Review from Phoenix, out above bar. Our bar is 3 pluses, no minuses. You hit that, and all 3 yeses. So you're at or above bar. I'd encourage you to get everything to pluses. So we want to work on those kind of things. Did you meet your responsibilities from the accountability chart above? I think you pretty much nailed that. Did you meet your metrics? No. You're part of a team that didn't quite hit their numbers. So we'll move on from there. Do you have any self-improvement things that you would like to do for the quarter that we could support?
I don't have anything set in stone as of now, but I'm open to suggestions.
We're not going to do it for you. In training, I encourage all young engineers to really invest in yourself and have the company invest in you also and provide them return.
Yeah.
That's why I have a CWI on the wall. I went to the company I was working for and I said, if you'll pay me the week, I'll pay for the class. And they said, deal. And when I came back, I gave a presentation to all their engineers on everything that I'd learned and how we could apply it. Massive value on both sides, and I was a CWI.
What's a CWI?
Certified Weld Inspector.
Oh, that's cool.
When there's any questions on welding or welding engineering, all the guys come to me because I can read the codes backwards and forwards and understand them because I did that week-long training.
Dang,
And
you should do that for him. That sounds sweet.
I personally spent $4,000 on it. The company
wow.
just paid me my standard week and didn't take it out of my vacation. So they paid me like I was at work. Cost me $4,000, but it was worth 400 grand of the work that I've done since then. So it's one of those things you've got to invest in yourself.
Looks like Farn's going to welding camp.
Yep.
It's a good class if you want to do it. You'll understand those, especially on the aluminum side.
All right, Farn. So we'll go through the P&L with you and then our goals for the next year. As you can see, 2022, we had a rough start this year. Unfortunately, I think that was largely because Jam was out and we had Amy out. So we had a rough go of it. Picked up in Q3 2022. Q4 would have actually been pretty good if our December wasn't really bad with everyone out and then not having a ton of projects. We did incur about 7% loss last year. So about, what, 90K around that. Unfortunately, I think I went over it in company L10, but we did have 56% revenue growth, but we're still down as far as profitability. So the ownership wants to get 15% profitability. Unfortunately, we're at -7 right now. January not looking great, but February we have the expectations for that to pick up. Any questions on that?
Yes, you said our revenue has increased 56%, but we've incurred a 7% loss.
Correct.
So we're spending more to increase our revenue than our revenue is actually increasing.
Correct. So as you can see,
Very well said.
Yep. As
Very
you
well
can
said.
see, we increased our vendor revenue a ton this year. So you have to think also this is all the vendor costs that's included in that. We also had marketing expenses to increase the sales and revenue because we had 2 million in sales compared to 1.2 in 2021. So that was all an increase. And then we also had the engineers that were out for 5 or 6 months. So that decreased our capacity.
Makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We've
Alright.
been investing over the last few years in building growth. And if you notice in our 1-year goals right there, that leadership just put together an annual L10, we decided to, okay, let's pause for a moment and let's shore up what we're good at. Let's make some money. Let's not chase as much growth, at least from our engineering team. If you see, we only have 156 from our engineering team. That's 20% more than you guys did last year. And you had two of your 5 people out for nearly 6 months. So
Yeah.
To us, it's not aggressive. It is extremely easily achievable and a spot to let's re-entrench what we're really good at, right? Let's get really good at what we're really good at. Let's make a lot of money on it, pay off all the debts that we invested to get us to this point. And then it also gives us pause to determine what the hell is about to happen in the world because nobody has any idea, right? Thousands and thousands of people being laid off every day. And then 2 minutes later, a guy's telling you, oh, it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
So I think it's just one of those spots we've decided, let's get real smart and let's engineer this to be stronger, to make a little bit more money and get better at what we're better at, right? The same thing, that's why we're asking you all these questions. How do we invest in you to make you better and more effective, more efficient, and train you to be able to do more and get you on the phone with customers to build out bigger customers to do bigger things. So all these kind of things are there. And you see some of our goals there. We want half of our revenue from systems. We were investing a good bit of time, 6 hours a week for every engineer in our rock. We're implementing our D100 process. We're doing kickoffs, onboarding, and closeouts for almost all of our projects. You're going to have to help me push that. And then we've got a sales blitz going on right now. If you haven't already gotten on the phone and done the email that Shane wanted you to do, make sure that happens today.
Okay.
Got me?
Makes sense.
Any additional questions there? To go back to what you were saying a minute ago, you said it very eloquently. Ownership has said the same thing. All right, I've invested. It's time for a return. And we've eliminated most of the things that didn't work. We threw a lot of money at a lot of things. The government gave us a lot of money to keep you guys around, and we've used it to invest in you and invest in the machine. And we've thrown it at a lot of things to try to see if they would work. And the ones that didn't we've gotten rid of, and the ones that do, we've still got. So we do not intend to do that again next year. Andrew and his accounting group is extremely difficult to get money out of right now in comparison to the beginning of last year.
So we should be good.
We're going to be good. We're going to be good one way or the other. Now, we might have to put in more. We might have to suck it up. We might have to do our part. But I guarantee it's a lot better in here than it is out there. So I encourage you to jump in there.
For sure.
Cool.
All right, sweet. Review P&L done. Compensation. All right, so brought over what you're currently being paid. I know that you mentioned you wanting a raise and desiring that. Do you have a number in mind that you're looking at or something that you want?
During my last assessment, last assessment, our ZP asked me where I want to be at the end of last year. And that number was
Yep. You need to be at the ASAP. I'm going to ask you a direct owner to employee question. How long have I got till you leave? That's
to
a
be
hard
honest,
part. Yeah,
to be
just
very
be honest with me.
Soon. Because especially so
You've got to
right
have
now,
you've got to have better opportunities right now. Right now, we must get you and a couple of our other people another 10K as fast as possible. And so we're just trying to balance with, hey, be straight with us. If you told me I'm leaving tomorrow, if you don't get me, we got to find some way to make that happen. It's going to make other things more difficult. So if you're willing to do it, we don't have to make a hard choice.
So I'll just explain my situation. It is that the H1B thing is very important for me, right? Obviously, because it's going to be my next step. So because that is so important and Phoenix has agreed to do that for me, that's huge for me. However, if H1B doesn't work out, because at the end of the day, it is a lottery system, that incentive for me goes away, being very honest. And I understand working from home and all the things that Phoenix provides, especially in terms of guidance. I get to work with you, I get to work with John and all these great people. That's huge. You can't put a monetary value on that. But however, there is compensation.
Sure. You can put a monetary value on it, because if somebody said I can give you 200K to do the same shit, I would make you take the job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Everybody's just got to be straight with each other. We absolutely must get our people more money. Okay. We just spent the last 6 months carving out every expense we can find to make sure we have a profitable machine to continue forward. So we're really close. That doesn't mean a whole lot until you get some money in your pocket. So we've got to find some way to get that. So it's back to what I was saying a minute ago. We as engineers, we can't sit back and wait on others. Hey, if we want work in an area, we got to help marketing and sales bring in work in that area. If we want more money, we got to make the company more money. And I'll just give you an example from my own history. I was in this same spot in a prior company and told them, if I don't get more money, I'm fucking out of here. But then I went and I got them a customer that gave them $2 million that year at a 45% profit.
Oh, wow.
So I went and made it happen. And I said, now I get my money. And it was very interesting, because then they still didn't give me my money. And that's when I decided it was time to go.
You tried.
But I did my part. And that's what I'm getting at. We have to do our part. If we sit back like this, no one's getting anything.
Sure.
So I want you to know that we recognize you need to be as fast as possible. And we are attempting to make that happen. And that's why I was just asking, like, how much time have I got here? All right.
Makes sense.
My question is, can you wait 3 months for the next review, get us to 130 every month internal, and we can get you that 5, maybe even more?
When's the next review?
That'd be around the end of March, beginning of April, somewhere around there? Or is this a necessary you need now?
I would say that's something I would need now. However, the other thing I'm thinking about is like in terms of my H-1B process, that the filing and everything, my decisions come in March if I'm selected or not. Like after the second week of March, they basically tell me if I'm selected or not. So that is essentially what I'm trying to balance out.
For sure.
Sounds like we're doing amazing.
This is an old number.
Sweet. We're almost there.
So yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like it shouldn't be that steep a jump.
What does the president think? Are we good with this?
I think we need to think about what
Think
we
about
got
it.
going on there. Such a small number to get to that we should be able to work something out. To me, let's let Foreign give us a good hard run of February and why don't you hold us to speaking with you Valentine's week? Let's see where we're at, what Foreign's doing, what extra effort he's made, and then see where we are and what extra effort we've made. And then if we're not, then I'll help Foreign write his resignation letter. That's very little additional money, but I would like it to be more, I guess is what I'm getting at for him.
Okay.
I'd like to be able to say, shit, we just did 225. Oh my God, we got so much work stacked up. Oh, everybody's fucking crushing it. And start to hand out more money for everybody. See, we've got to balance 11 people. We're in Foreign's assessment. Foreign needs to balance Foreign. We also have to balance 11 other people. So yeah, it sounds like you're basically there. You're in that same almost exact spot that I was. Like I wanted 70 and they agreed to give it to me. And then my paycheck came and I had 69.8. And I realized that they didn't give a shit about me and they weren't listening. Yeah. After I just brought them in 2 million at 40-something% profit.
Yeah, you're saying how Foreign feels now.
That told me everything I needed to know.
Yeah.
The flip side, like Foreign has less of a lag to stand on because we've spent a lot of money getting him up to speed and training him, bringing him fresh out of school. We gave him an opportunity they probably wouldn't have got somewhere else. We're working with him on his visa. I think we've done our part. We needed to have paid you more, but on the flip side of the owner, hey, I invested tons of money in this company. Where's my return? Like the owner's asking the same question. I need to be at 10% soon, or I got to find something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody's in the same spot, and that's what I'm getting at. We just got to be straight with one another where we're at and what we're doing.
That's what I was saying in terms of the H-1B. Like that is something that's big. I would pick that over compensation.
Yeah,
So
sure.
that's so
Sure.
important.
Sure.
Right.
Why don't we do this? When did you say you're going to find out? It's not till March.
Yeah, I'll have to get my lawyer and then get paperwork, get those to you and all that. But in terms of getting picked, I would find out mid-March.
Okay. Why don't we do a 10-minute with Foreign? Why don't we do it the week we come back?
Okay, first week in
The
March.
last week of February, first week of March, and let's
Yeah.
let him pick his new number.
All right, sounds good. I'll schedule that for us.
And then seeing it. So here's what's going down right here, Foreign. So you got a month to fucking have everybody crush it so that you can come in with everything on your side of the table and say, I got you money, I got you profit, I got everybody working together, I put in extra time, I did my training, I've done everything I could possibly do. Here's what I want you to do for me. And then we got to come to our side of the table, right?
For sure.
That sound fair? That puts it in your hands where you can be active in creating what you want. And we do recognize that everyone needs to be at a higher number.
Yeah, you get Skyline in, you get 5 projects before then, you're golden.
Be careful because those are sometimes held as promises. Because I was told many of those things and they came back later and told me, oh, we can't do that. Well, bullshit. Yes, you can. That was actually their business model, was to hire young, pay them little, burn them out, and then bring in a new crew. And so I've tried to not let that happen in this company.
A lot of companies do that. Just
Lots
get
of big
2 or 3
engineering
years.
firms do exactly that.
Yeah.
And you've got to understand it going in. I got my value from the company. I got 15 years of experience in 4 years. I did things I would never do anywhere else, but I also got raped on my pay.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Sounds like we'll meet back. I'll schedule that today. Final clarify and verify. Anything?
You got to read the thing before that,
Oh, sorry.
Andrew.
I forgot. That's usually your part. I'll let Zane
Yeah.
take that one. I'll go over it. Invest in yourself as you are the product and lifeblood of this company. We all grow together and learn from one another. Turn it off. Take time off. You did your part. Get some rest and recharge. Smiley face. I even smiled for that one, Foreign. You're welcome.
I had never even noticed the smiley face was there until today.
Really?
I had no idea that was
I always see. I'm like, there's no punctuation on it. It's just a smiley face.
I had no idea there was a smiley face there, to be honest with you.
All right.
I don't know how long ago I wrote that, and I had no idea there was a smiley face.
Clarify, verify. Anything foreign you got?
Yes, we didn't talk about the second thing I had in the additional comments on the assessment page.
December email discussion. I thought that was
Yes.
this. What else is that?
Yeah, that we didn't talk about the end of December email discussion. So what I wanted to talk about regarding that was at the end of December, we were given the instruction to essentially ask for more work from our best clients. And what I had trouble understanding was the thought process behind that decision. We were asked to ask our best clients for work when we essentially had the entire engineering team out for almost 2 weeks. What was the thought process behind it?
Really good question. There's a couple of things that work there, and I'll just tell you the simplest. We are trying to change the culture from you being a machine that just does what they're told and hands it back to you looking to create value outside the walls and build relationships with your customers. So we're trying to get you to take action to do that. Right now, you'll see Shane asked everybody to send out an email and gave you a suggested customer and gave you a script. That's the next version of what was asked there. We're just trying to get you involved in seeing the value we can provide to customers and stepping in to help marketing and sales. It's back to the I'm an engineer. Why do I have to make phone calls? You get to call your client and bullshit with them for a minute and ask them if they have something coming up. Builds the relationship, it builds work for you and all those kind of things. Does that make sense?
It does to a certain extent.
Was your point, hey, if we get more work in, we're hosed and we can't do it anyway?
My issue was like for the timeline of when we were promising our deliverable. So that's essentially what I wanted to clarify.
Sure. And Zane, correct me if I'm wrong. I think this was not specifically for that time period. This was more for the new year. Hey, just reminding them that we're here, that we can get new projects started. And then for some of our current customers, they have deposits on hold. So anything, hey, do they want to build? Do they want us to recognize already if those projects are never coming off hold? So I think that was also part of it, rather than maybe those two projects that came from those emails that needed immediate attention. I don't think that was really the cause of it, because we did know that almost everyone in engineering was out the last 2 weeks.
No, you asked the question of why are we doing that when we weren't fulfilling our promises, and leadership has already had those same questions asked. Yeah, 100%. Like, what the hell are we doing? We're killing our best client and handle somebody else. What are we thinking? If you wanted to have some actionable steps out of that fund, one of the things sales badly needs is a clear schedule from engineering of when we're going to finish stuff. Now, your thought might be, well, I don't have anything to do with that. Maybe that's the problem, right? Maybe you got to get involved and be like, hey, how do we get a schedule that works? How do we speak up and say, there's no way we're doing this? You know, we're almost come full circle, because on your project, if you know you're not going to finish, bring it up immediately and then help us go back into sales to make sure we didn't even start it without a chance to finish it. That makes sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I'm pushing us in engineering to do is be proactive. Go out there, go help them write the proposal and get a clear schedule and let them know when if you don't start till here, you can't have it till there. And that assumes you give us everything. It's communication, internal and external. And I think that's one of the things we have identified that we must do better as a company for the next year is to deliver on our promises. If we say it's going to be Thursday, we need to make sure it's Thursday. So you're identifying what we've identified as well, which means it's probably definitely a problem and we got to do something about it. So that help?
Makes sense. Yeah.
There were a couple other initiatives we do at the end of the year. One is the, hey, do you need us to bill you for the end of the year? Sometimes that generates some extra jobs. And the other is just hitting everybody up. They're getting so many other things at Christmas with the random what companies do. Hey, enjoy your Christmas. Well, maybe we just ask how their year went, if there's anything we help them with next year. Maybe we're a slightly different version.
Yeah, and I don't think we had the expectation of everyone being the fully out. I think we knew 2 engineers would be out, but we did not have the expectations that it'd only be Stefan and Zane, basically, for 2 weeks. All right, anything else you'd like to go over? All good?
No, that's all.
All right, our rating for Phoenix out of 10?
Oh, for Phoenix, 10.
10.
Yeah.
Nice. Do we meet your needs?
Yes or no?
Yes.
All right, so what can we improve? Engineering schedule, huh? Anything else?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's about it.
Get FM more money.
Oh yeah, that too.
All right, rate the assessment.
9.
Zane,
I give us an 8. We went way long,
we did start really late too, though.
and that's why I'm giving us an 8. Probably should have been a 7 for starting late.
All right, schedule new reviews. ZP will get with TP to schedule. All right, sweet. I think that's it. Anything else you need, brother?
No.
All right.
Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
I'll make sure to schedule that and let me know if you need anything else, man.
All right. Thank you, Zane. Appreciate it.
See you far in your rock.